still ahead. Are voters in the mood for sunshine when you talk to them?
Oh, good evening. Thanks for having me. Tim Scott's an interesting guy. And I said way back, Chance, that if the Republicans want to make an impact in 2024, the right tandem would be Ron DeSantis / Tim Scott. Tim Scott entering this race adds a lot as far as credibility and a lot of situations of impact, especially in the southern states. Yes, I think the field is wide open and there's still some room as far as more candidates, but Tim Scott adds an awful lot as far as what he's accomplished, Congress, Senate, and certainly on a lot of the situations at hand regarding what the Democrats have been able to do since this administration started over 2 years ago.
You know, one thing about him is he's famous for his socks. Many people may not realize that he's, a serious wonk when it comes to policy, but Senator Scott, the socks. And he tries to bring out this bit of playfulness, which I say that because having been a Washington correspondent and dealing with his office, it's hard to come by playfulness in politics a lot of times these days. But the American public want to see people who can, have a lighter moment sometime, really be a person. Of course, his personal story is very compelling. I was struck by it when I talked to him in the past. I was also struck with, he's very disciplined on message. He stays on message. What effect do you think his background, his profile as a black Republican have?
Well, I think he's a man of faith. He's a man of belief. And I think he's got a very distinct message. I think it is definitely kind of a greater light as far as what the American people have been seeing in the political landscape over the last several years. He gives you that little break in the action. He gives you a little bit of levity. He gives you a little bit of not being serious most of the time. That the message, it's about having a discussion. If you've seen him in certain town halls, it is about, a message. It's not emphatically being all negative, but there's a lot of hope. And basically, Scott gives you that type of hope. And I think it's going to be portrayed even more so as we get into the next couple of months. But right now, Tim Scott gives you a little something different if you are a Republican voter right now.
Jay, it's rough and tumble. You know that. I mean, you spend hours every day talking this stuff. The Republican Party's top candidates, Trump and DeSantis, focus on being fighters. We hear about institutional capture and where woke goes to die and American carnage. Is Tim Scott bringing a pom-pom to a gunfight?
I think Tim Scott's got a very serious message. Tim Scott's a very bright individual, okay? Yeah. The accomplishments are pretty much in stone as far as what he has done, speak for themselves. Tim Scott offers a different type of look, a different type of message, I think, to the American people. I think in all the politics, from the world of Donald Trump, where it's always on the attack and defense, and of course you see Joe Biden and whatnot as far as how he's handling situations. But right now, Tim Scott's giving you kind of a different outlook as far as everything. It's not all doom and gloom, yet with the right type of knowledge, with the right type of selection, I can add a little bit of a different take on things and maybe set this country on the right course. That's the message overall I think Tim Scott's trying to portray.
So what do you think, I mean, through your eyes, you analyze this all day, every day. Are you looking at a VP here? Or do you think the real goal might be, let everyone tear themselves apart in this primary, in this general. Let everybody wear themselves out with all the negativity. And then 4 years, they come crawling back to me because they'll remember what I'm selling.
One of the things I've learned in this business over 31 years, Chance, is that negativity during the electoral season gets you nowhere. So the way I see it, if Ron DeSantis
really
and Donald Trump are going to go at it, left and right. Tim Scott has a great chance as far as getting on the outside and getting to that finish line.
I'm sorry, Jay, explain that to me, please. Going negative is one surefire way a lot of times to win.
Not really. I think when there's a lot of mudslinging going on, that is a negative situation for a candidate. Whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's Ron DeSantis, Tim Scott will not portray it that way. He'll let the big guys fight. He'll let them do their thing. He's got a message, and I think he's going to shine like never before that we've seen a candidate.
Okay. Hey, you sound bullish. Okay. Although I don't want to rain on the parade, but I think Rubio, Kasich kind of had that same idea a few years ago. You know, let Ted Cruz and you know, Trump hash it out, and then I'll just slide right in there. But if you are right, what do you think the blueprint calls for in the coming either months or years? What do you think Tim Scott needs to do? Shore up something like foreign policy experience? What do you think he needs to do?
I think right now, Tim Scott has to get his message out. The message is that we are in economic ruins. We have a debt ceiling that is on the brink of default as far as the United States of America is concerned. I think his message has to be quite clear as far as the southern border is concerned. I think it has to be quite clear as far as the criminal activity within the confines of the United States. I think he has to be very, very clear of support, the way he has positioned it. Those three areas, Chance, if he gets his message out, he's got an excellent chance. An excellent chance, I feel.
Jay Oliver, conservative political commentator. It's great to get your perspective tonight. Thanks.
Thank you.
And be sure to stick